In June 2019, Harbin Engineering University welcomed a special guest named Tang Duo. He came to explore the place where his father once worked.
This university was built in 1953. The building with small airplanes models on the roof was the building of the Air Force Engineering Department. My father worked in it for 11 years.
Tang Duo's father, Tang Duo, was one of the founders of Harbin Engineering University. It was here that Tang Duo established the higher education training system for the Air Force of the People's Republic of China. However, his unusual life experience began in the distant Soviet Union. On the early morning of June 22, 1941, German fascists assembled 190 divisions and 5.5 million troops to simultaneously launch an attack on the Soviet Union from the north, center, and south, marking the outbreak of the Soviet-German War. It happened to be a Sunday. Tang Duo was then a Chinese student at Zhukovsky Air Force Engineering Academy, the highest institution of the Soviet Air Force. He was buying daily necessities at a store next to the academy. He heard the news from the radio.
People showed expressions of fear and anxiety, listening to the radio in silence. After a few minutes, a tall man, probably the store manager, shouted in a loud voice, "Shut the store right now." Only then did the customers come to their senses and rush out, and I left the store with the crowd.
Tang Duo was born in 1904. In 1924, he enrolled at Guangdong Aviation School, established by Sun Yat-sen, and became one of the first pilots trained in China. The following year, he was sent to the Soviet Union, where he studied aviation at 5 military academies. On September 30, 1941, the German army had reached the outskirts of Moscow. Facing the overwhelming advance of the Germans, the Soviet Union implemented the largest relocation in history. Zhukovsky Air Force Engineering Academy, where Tang Duo studied, was ordered to move to the Ural Mountains.
While passing through Kazan, a poster on the wall caught everyone's attention. It depicted an elderly, kind-looking mother holding a military enlistment oath, with the words, "Motherland is calling."
The poster left a lasting impression on Tang Duo. Although he was a Chinese in the Soviet Union, in a world of gunfire, facing the calling of such a mother, Tang Duo felt it was difficult for him to remain indifferent. From 1941 to 1943, the Soviet Air Force lost about 15,000 aircraft and thousands of pilots sacrificed their lives. The severe shortage of pilots prompted the Soviet Army to recruit elite personnel from aviation schools. Operation Bagration, which began on June 22, 1944, was the largest-scale offensive operation launched by the Soviet Red Army. Tang Duo was assigned to the 74th Regiment of the Soviet 1st Air Army Group as the deputy commander.
My mission was to fly at low or ultra-low altitude and attack the enemy targets in the combat zone as directed by the ground force commander.
Tang Duo piloted the Ilyushin IL-2 Sturmovik attack aircraft, which had tremendous dive attack power, but it often required ultra-low altitude flying, making it highly vulnerable to enemy fire. This posed a significant challenge for the pilots. During World War II, Tang Duo participated in multiple battles across the Soviet Union, Poland, and Germany. On the days of the most intense combat, he set a record of 6 sorties in a single day. For pilots, every sortie meant dancing with death.
So my father said that during the war, blood-stained planes were often engaged in combat. How were they blood-stained? It was because when the planes returned, some soldiers had been killed or been injured. People lifted these soldiers out, checked the planes, and replaced them with others to continue missions.
Tang Duo had a comrade named Aslov, who bid farewell to his pregnant wife before heading to the front lines. When receiving a photo of his wife and child, this 30-year-old Soviet soldier was filled with tenderness.
He said to me, "I miss them so much." Before we took off, I saw him kiss the photo of his wife and child again, so I joked with him, "We're about to win the war. Let's save our kiss when we get home afterwards."
The war was indeed about to end, but Tang Duo's blessing did not come true.
As I approached the enemy's defensive positions, I flew at low altitude, forcing my way through the enemy's anti-aircraft fire line and quickly got close to the target. It was a large bungalow and was not very obvious, making it difficult to hit with bombs.
Another low-altitude flight, once again searching for targets. After spotting the target, my father and the gunner opened fire on it together. The enemy's command post was finally destroyed.
When I quickly exited the battle and spoke to the gunner on the way back, there was no response. I thought he had simply fallen asleep from exhaustion. It wasn't until the plane landed and came to a stop that I realized he had been shot and killed.
On May 8, 1945, Germany announced its unconditional surrender. 2 days later, Tang Duo left the battlefield and returned to his lover in the Soviet Union. For his contributions during the war, Tang Duo was awarded the Soviet Order of the Patriotic War.
This is CGTN Radio. Hear the difference.